Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God. This is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Drop me a comment and click the bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live on the YouTubes. Guys, you can find me on X, on Twitter here. It's one word. It's Crypto Bull God. Guys, November has been nothing short of exciting so far. And, if you've been here for any amount of time, you know that the market is just warming up. I mean, it's very exciting to see the way price is reacting currently. We're going to get into some charts, but very evident. I mean, look at your meme coins. You have a lot of meme coins that are up big today. Pepe got a listing on Coinbase with Dog with Hat. Got a listing on Coinbase. And I had actually posted out on X earlier, right before going live on the live stream here, that this is down here. That in the top 100 coins, 12%, or I decided to put it in percentage terms, but basically 12 out of 100 coins right now are meme coins. And one of the questions I'm beginning to ask myself is, will one of the ways we determine when we look in hindsight and we go back in time and look at when the market actually topped out, will that saturation be closer to like a third, 33%? So what I had posted out, let me share with you. I think it'll be an interesting potential future topping signal if this increases to 33%. Because right now, 12% of the top 100 coins on CoinMarketCap are meme coins. It's pretty insane. And at the moment, it's beginning to make Murad, who I've been trolling a little bit, it's beginning to make him look pretty smart for what he was signaling back earlier on that I shared with you guys. And if you've been subscribed to the channel for some time, I mean, it was very early on this year. I shared with you that there needed to be a percentage of your portfolio that was in meme coins, and it was a total shift in my view in terms of how I invested in this space. But one of the things that I've really aimed to communicate to you is that one of the biggest things you have to consider based on how you're invested in the market is not just clearly the technicals. I'm here as the TA guy. It's not just the fundamentals, but it's also the narratives, because the narratives in many ways are going to drive value in the space where the value is actually going to go to. So with that being said, let's take a look at Bitcoin here. This is on the 12-hour. Actually, more of the market is red than I thought it was in the top 10 here. But meme coins are really stealing the spotlight. And what you're going to notice at this point, it wasn't shocking the other day. I didn't go live yesterday like I had mentioned. It wasn't shocking the other day to see XRP and XLM up the way they were and the rest of the market down in red. This is something I shared with you if you're unfamiliar with it. This sort of price action happens every time. It wasn't surprising. I just rolled my eyes, par for the course. What we can anticipate moving forward once the market really does begin to pick up, and when I say the market begins to pick up, I'm not talking about Bitcoin. I'm talking about the altcoins. We can expect that same view, but it's going to be magnified because there's going to be much larger gains in the market. We can see Bitcoin right now. The volume is coming in here, man. The volume is coming in. It's just doing what it wants to do. I think the dumbest thing you could be doing in this market would be shorting. I mean, who the hell would want to short this chart? I mean, I saw smart traders talking about shorting WIF. And again, I've been coming out here for months talking about, guys, we just broke out of a downtrend here. We back tested it, which is commonly done in a bullish scenario where you're going to continue moving up. We've had the higher highs and higher lows, and we saw the volume picking up. I've been here every step of the way telling you that on WIF. So I don't know why the fuck you'd want to short this thing. It just seemed not like not a smart decision. I think the thing you don't want to be focused on at this point, and it speaks to the fact if you've been DCAing into your entries, you wouldn't be. You shouldn't be focused on where are we going to top out? Where's the next pullback level going to be? If you've been scaling into this market, you're just sitting pretty right now. You don't give two fucks. As long as there isn't anything flashing telling you that we're at a topping area, you don't give two fucks about what's going on. Looking at the 12 hour, is there anything concerning here? Not on the 12 hour. There aren't any negative divergences coming in, so it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. One of the charts I wanted to look at with you guys, I wanted to take a look at that Bitcoin 3-day, actually. We haven't looked at that in a while. And I also wanted to take a look at the topping indicators because I had those pulled up. Let me turn this light off. My lighting, I need to get some professional assistance here. It's my lighting when there isn't light, natural sunlight coming through the window. It's horrific. But let's see if that's any better. Yeah, I think that's a little better, I guess. My computer restarted, but I had all these charts up that related to the topping signal, so I'll have to bring that back up, but probably worth it to take a look at what's going on there. We just had one of the things this is just one of these charts again that is lending itself to a bullish view. I don't know what to tell you. If things are looking bearish, I'm going to come out here and tell you that. If things are looking bullish, I'm going to come out here and tell you that. But there's just been way too many charts that I've been looking at with you guys that, I mean, let's go to the monthly chart. Okay, I know I'm jumping around here, but let's go to the monthly chart. What have I been telling you guys? If you haven't been buying, I don't know what to tell you. I said bullish price action would pick up in the fourth quarter. I said look for November. October, it could just be a sideways area. Let's just get above 68. Turned out to be even a little bit more bullish than we closed at about 70, so pretty much on par. But look at November. November opened at $70,000, and we hit a high of essentially $94,000, guys. I mean, that's insanity. That's like a 30% move. More than a 30% move. So, and the month is not over yet. Now, what I would anticipate to begin to happen here very shortly, and please listen very carefully here. What I would anticipate happening very shortly, you're going to begin seeing rotations into a lot of these alts right now that aren't doing as well. So when we go to the mid caps and you see a lot of these mid caps in the red, of course, Pepe's up 40%. So congratulations to all the Pepe holders. I don't own Pepe, but I do own WIF. So congratulations to the Pippy. Congratulations to the Pippy and the WIF holders. But you see all the red here. There's going to be shifts that take place. But at some point, what's going to happen? Very shortly. Let's go to total 3, which takes out Ethereum and Bitcoin. Okay. Now you can see we've already broken out of this pennant on total 3. Okay. This is on the monthly here. All right. What you have to realize, all we can do, again, there's limited cycles here, but all we can do is go to the past and ask ourselves, well, what's happened in the past? Because that's all we can base our forward-looking view on. If it's smelling similar and looking similar, probably something similar is going to play out. But generally what happens is there's rotations that take place. So Bitcoin gets a bid. Bitcoin gives the market, okay, this green Jesus candlestick, which hasn't finished printing, is giving the market confidence. Then what happens is money starts to really flow into those top 10 coins. You're already seeing things like Dogecoin pop off, and a lot of that has to be driven by the meme narrative, okay? You also have this whole narrative play going on. Then after the top 10, money begins to flow into more of those mid caps, things in, say, the top 100, 150, whatever. And then money starts to flow into your micro caps, right? So what's happening is, you know how there's an expression of being on a risk on versus risk off environment? I would call this being in a risky risk on environment versus being in a risky risk off environment. So the risky risk off environment is when money's more flooding in the bigger tokens. The risky risk on market is when money is flowing into those smaller market caps, right? Now the other thing that is comprising the overall movements within the market is the dominating narrative, okay? Social tokens, meme coins. Meme coins are just, they're having their fill of it today, okay? If we go to the if we go to my 3 personal largest meme holdings, you can see, I mean, look at my portfolio is looking pretty nice, right? I'm up 24% in WIF, 23% on Wojak, 10% on Brett. So those are my 3 largest holdings. I hold a couple others, but those are my largest holdings. But this is going to continue to be clearly a growing narrative. I mean, it's crazy to think. I believe last cycle, in the top 100, there were only, correct me if I'm wrong, you can drop a comment, there was Doge, SHIB, maybe Floki was in there, but Doge and SHIB, I want to say there was only, 2 meme coins in the top 100? There's already 12. There's already 12 meme coins in the top 100. When this market, I really think when we go back in time and we assess a market top, it's going to be an oversaturation of meme coins in the top 100. Like a third of the coins are going to be meme coins. We'll see if that kind of pans out. But that is the direction that the market is going right now. But looking at this 3-day, again, we got the 20 crossing above the 50 every single time in recent history here. We've seen the 20 cross above the 50. We've seen monumental rises in price, and we literally just crossed above here. So we should expect a lot more time before the true cycle top comes in, which is a good segue to what I wanted to spend some time talking about. Real quick, before I get into the topping indicators, let me get to the comments, and then let me get to Bitcoin dominance. By the way, tomorrow, most likely tomorrow, we're still in this forever rising wedge here that just doesn't seemingly want to break down, right? It will. It certainly will. Tomorrow, most likely, I will not be live streaming. But Friday, I'm going to try and make up for that on Friday. So make sure you click the bell icon if you want to join me. And if I live stream on Friday, it'll probably be at an odd time. Kyle, welcome in. Rashid, man, I haven't seen you in a while. Very, very nice to see you in the comments. Yeah, man, let me know if you're down in the Pompano Beach area. All right, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to get into the topping signals. Oh, the topping signals. Let's get into the topping signals. Now, if you haven't watched my video, if you go to my Twitter homepage, you will see the video that is on my YouTube. And maybe we'll take a look at it. Now, of course, the friends indicator, I can't give you access to. You would have to get Tony the Bull BTC's and Tech Dev's information, which I pass off in that video. But we're not going to cover those topping signals. It's on you. Those, I have to respect the fact those are proprietary indicators, so I'm not going to share that on a live stream. I feel like that wouldn't be fair to them. So, all right. So let's just focus on these sort of 3, and there's really 4. Oh, this is this is the topping. Okay, we don't want that one. Whoopsies. We're not going to look at that. Let's look at the MVRV, market value realized value. And when I pulled this up, yeah, there's something wrong with this. We're going to have to see if we can find it. something happened to that topping signal. Pure multiple. And then USDT dominance, which I have to rename this chart. Okay. This is topping signal. I don't know, what is this, 5 or I think technically I have 6 topping signals. Okay, so let's cover these topping signals here because I think it'll be important for everyone to understand kind of where we're at in the market. So again, the whole premise of the video I put out there was, and this is going to be the most important part of the live stream, especially if you didn't catch that video or you haven't watched it in a long time, but everyone is trying to come up with the right way to have an exit strategy. It's very important that everyone, I will continue to hammer this home, I'm not going to come out here and I'm not going to tell you exactly what I'm selling or when I'm selling. We're all going to be dumping on each other's heads once we get into euphoria. But I'm being very transparent in the methodology that I'm using to sell. Okay, that I'm being transparent in. And there are different schools of thought. And let's just talk about Bitcoin. There are different schools of thought on how to scale out. You're not going to profit in this market unless if you sell. And if you haven't gone through this before, it's harder than you think. You have to put your emotions aside, okay? Again, I've been very transparent with you. The one macro call that I got wrong really cost me, in a sense, financially, in terms of what I didn't realize by cashing out in 2021. I'm not going to make that mistake again. Now, there's a balance here. I, having gone through that, don't want to have PTSD and sell too early, but I also don't want to be greedy and give in to my emotions and sell too late. And so, before I even talk about the general layout that I have here, one of the most fundamentally important things that I keep in mind is my success in this market selling is not predicated on picking the top. That's not what's going to define if I'm financially successful. What will define my financial success in investing in this market is if I scaled out of my investments in a sensical, logical manner, right? Meaning, if Bitcoin tops at $130,000 and my average sell is $110,000, that's a big win for me. That's a big win. That's a huge win. But let's get into these topping indicators. So what I've done is formulated something that I think, and this is where I believe the way that I've approached this stems from the fact that at the heart of who I am as a person, I'm an analytics guy, right? So I'm very, very analytically minded. So when I hear people talking about picking specific price points, and even more so, when I hear people talking about time horizons, I find a lot of flaws in that logic, okay? Because the price can go on much shorter or much longer than you're anticipating if you're doing time horizons. The price could peak a lot higher or a lot lower than you're anticipating. So what would make sense? How can we base a logical, sensible sell strategy? The way that makes sense to me, again, being analytically minded, is we have historical indicators that tell us, again, just using history, when the market has entered true euphoria, is overheated, and it'd be smart to begin selling. It doesn't call an exact top. Now, in the Pi cycle historically has, but it doesn't. It's not predicated on calling an exact top. It's predicated on you are super fucking overheated, and we're gonna, if we haven't topped, we're gonna top soon. The second thing it's predicated on is it's not reliant on one chart. It will. I've said this time and time again. Bitcoin had a new all-time high before the halving. What does that tell you? It tells you it's a very immature asset, okay? And there are no 100% certainties on anything. It will be your mistake if you rely on one chart to tell you when Bitcoin is topping, because you are implicitly implying certainty. There's no certainty in charting. So the best thing we can do for ourselves, while still keeping things stupid simple, is just have a handful, no more than 5, and I think technically I have 6, but no more than around 5 indicators. And when a majority of them begin to flash and tell us you're overheated, it doesn't matter what price Bitcoin is at, it doesn't matter how much time has gone by, you start selling, right? You start selling. That's the key. So looking at the Pi cycle indicator, we have a fast moving average and a slow period moving average. And historically, once this orange fast period touches the slow period, price is both above it and the market tops. You can actually see the slow moving average right now, by the way, is all the way up at 120,000. It'll be interesting to see if this chart will fail at some point. It will. It'll be interesting to see if it fails this cycle or it fails in a different cycle. But regardless, this is one of the topping indicators, and you can see it's suggesting we have a lot more room to the upside. It would suggest, if we go back in the past, look what happened in 2021. We got well above it. And the lines, by the way, the horizontal lines indicate when that fast period, orange, crossed above the slow period moving average. Look how much further we got above it. Now notice, price action here in 17 was above the slow moving average, but we didn't get our cross yet with these two moving averages. We need the cross to occur. So theoretically, the way this fast, if history looks similar to the past, this fast period, this slow period moving average is going to continue accelerating somewhere up here, okay? Which would mean if Bitcoin's price were to continue moving up, we could expect something to top somewhere up in this area, which, you know, puts it up in that 160, 170 range. We'll have to see. There's no guarantee. But this is one indicator. If we go to the next indicator, which one is this? Okay, this is the RSI and MACD. So historically, what we've looked for here, and this is on a weekly chart. A weekly chart? Do I want this on a weekly chart or do I want this on a monthly chart? I guess it is a weekly chart. Okay, so a weekly chart. What am I showing here? What I'm showing is, you can see, first off, if we look at the MACD, I've signaled to you descending lines here, okay, where we've gotten touches. But there's something else that we have to point out on this chart. This is the weekly Bitcoin chart. It's the RSIs, and you can see these red horizontal lines indicate topping points. So essentially what I'm saying is, and the purple horizontal lines indicate this, when the MACD touches the descending line here, and the RSI touches the red line, it's kind of both occurring relatively in the same fashion, that's indicating that we're very overheated and likely topping. So what is this chart telling us? It's telling us, first off, we have a lot of potential to go much higher. And the RSI, it's above 70, which is great because the most historically significant moves in Bitcoin come above 70, but we still have a lot of room to run to the upside here. Okay, looking at this view, it certainly lends itself to the possibility we could top in the first half of next year. You have to be prepared for that. But again, this isn't the only indicator we're looking at. This is one of the indicators we're looking at. There's no reason that the MACD couldn't underwhelm and never touch or go above. Maybe it double tops at this area and the RSI goes well above here, okay, up to 100. That's a possibility, and that's why, or I should even say, this never even triggers. Maybe the RSI comes up here and touches right here, and the MACD comes up and never touches, but that's why we have multiple indicators. So that's what we're looking for here. It's still got room to the upside. This one I'm pretty sure is the monthly. Yes. So again, very simple. We're looking at ignore these. This was for a different video here that we did earlier. So we're only in this case on the monthly looking at the relative strength index. And what we're saying is historically when we've topped, there's both a red area, okay, I've noted the red area, it's like a red horizontal zone here, between 91 and 96 on the RSI. And there's also a black descending line. Well, you can see we still have a decent amount of room potential to the upside. Now, we might cross the black line. We might never touch the black line. We might come all the way up to this area. But this is identifying this horizontal area here, this blue zone. Theoretically, when the chart most likely tops, ooh, that's actually getting very close. Okay, I didn't even notice that. So when we come here, so we've already crossed, if we were to look at our November 17, this line right here is November 17 down to here in 21, down to here. We've already crossed above it. So I would actually argue to say, let's take that off, simplify our lives. This is really the line to focus on. This descending line here. We are super close. Look how close we are right now. Oh, no, wait. I just drew that in. Sorry. I just drew that in. It's live TV, folks. Live TV. We have a lot of room to the upside. And I'm going to take off that other line just because I feel like, I mean, you could do this as well, but I feel like it clouds the picture. So this zone is really anywhere if history is to repeat itself and look similar, we could top anywhere in that area. And thankfully, my drawing was included in there when I commented earlier. You can see we still have significant room to the upside here. Significant possibility. This, again, once again, when I look at this chart, if this were to succeed in telling us when it's smart to sell out, this is lending itself to looking very possible that we could top in the first half of next year. So something to be aware of. So we got a lot of room to the upside on this chart. None of these charts have fired yet. Are you noticing that? So, and again, these topping indicators were a big reason why when people, beyond me telling you guys, coming out here relentlessly and telling you this was consolidation and accumulation here, and we were going to break out, we're in a bull flag, I don't know what else to tell you. People were saying we topped out here, which I thought was ridiculous because there was nothing telling me that. There was literally nothing in the charts telling me that. So this, again, I just feel very vindicated in that. This is the MV-RVZ score. And it's not working, so we're going to try this again. I might have to do some work on this chart. Now, the MV-RVZ score, all it's doing is comparing the market value to the realized value of Bitcoin. And what we've noticed at tops here, although I want to take a closer look at this chart, because I'm just putting this on now since the other indicator I originally had on there wasn't available. You can see that it's been decreasing over time, right? Now, again, all we can do, given that since we had our cycle top back here in 18, I mean, okay, so a couple quick comments here. You can see right here, this was like a historical topping area. Look what happened in 2018. We went above it, right? We never touched it in 21, but we went well above it in 18. So what I would personally do, I would add some additional confluence on here. Here's the top in 21. So we have a descending line, right? Because this line never got above here. But now what we've also added are horizontal supports between 6.9 and 9.44. So as soon as this starts to come up to this trend line, this is sort of a warning sign. Anything over here and this thing's beginning to become overheated, and we need to be on watch for a potential top in Bitcoin. But you can still see there's a decent amount of runway left within this chart. It also looks like on this chart, I'd have to go back and figure out how I calculated this, but based on looking at certain price targets, I think I was having fun with you guys at one point on a prior live stream, and I said, hey, just for fun, I think Bitcoin will top out at 125,368. But certainly this is the range I had identified at that point between... What was the range that I identified? 99,591 and 137,875. I wonder how I came up with that. I'm going to have to go back to that. But anyway, this MV-RVZ score still has a lot of room to the upside. So that's not been a topping. That's not been a signal either. Now, the Pugh multiple got to think about what the hell is the Pew multiple again. I quite frankly forget. But the Pew multiple, it's on the tip of my tongue and I forget at the moment, so you can look it up. But the Pew multiple is another historical topping indicator. The green horizontal lines indicate the tops here. And you can see this red area here. Here we got at and above it. Here we almost touched it. Not quite. Here we actually spiked up as well. But if we were to really get anywhere in between... I feel like this chart changed too. This chart used to look different. Some of these indicators, I think, get updated. So the red horizontal line is where we peaked out in 21. The red area, I guess, is where we're overheated based on how this calculation's taking place. You can see we went above it there. So the Pew multiple for me, for this to tell me that we're getting overheated, it's got to come somewhere up in this region. We almost touched it here back in March. Or when was that? This was back in April. We almost touched it. But this would begin to tell me we're overheated here. But again, this is the benefit of having multiple indicators. Imagine if you were just using this. If you were just using this and you saw a huge spike, you might think it might be smart to start getting out here while all the other charts, topping signals were far off from telling you the market was too overheated. So this is the value in having a few different data points to look at. And then the last one we'll look at, of course, we have the Friends indicators we can't look at. But the last one we want to take a look at, this is the monthly dominance chart on Tether. And the idea is as money is coming out of Tether, of course, Tether is being printed. I was hearing the argument earlier that there's a lot of money going into Tether, which is kind of holding this up, which is being fed into the market. So interesting. But anyway, this monthly Tether dominance chart, which again, I came out here and just shared with you guys. I'm not telling you what I hope to see in the chart. I'm telling you what I see. This is a bear flag. It's a bearish pattern. We want the Tether dominance to come down because in general, what that's telling us is there's less money on the sidelines ready to scoop up crypto assets. It's actually being deployed. People are selling their Tether. I mean, have you ever used Tether to buy something? I know I have. I've transferred Tether to my Tangem and bought. I've transferred Tether when MEXC was available and bought. So I certainly understand the concept, and I hope that makes sense. But the idea is every time the market has topped, which is the orange line here, okay? This was our temporary top back. Okay. And this actually, you can see how close they are. So let me walk you through this. So this top in 17, this is when the market topped in 17, and you can see the monthly RSI on Tether dominance touched this downward sloping line. This is where we touched here in May of 2019 on the monthly RSI. Bitcoin topped, it had a temporary top in June of 19. Here, we touched the line, and this was in March of 2021. Of course, Bitcoin, that was its true topping within that third Elliott wave. We've talked about the fact that 69,000 was part of a corrective structure. So we topped, it showed a topping indicator here in March. Bitcoin actually topped in April, 1 month later. You can see here, we almost got a top, or almost got a tap. Bitcoin actually did temporarily top there. We almost got a tap. I'm projecting based on where this is slanting down that we'll touch it somewhere between January to maybe July. So that would imply that Bitcoin would, if that holds true, you know, we start to bleed down here, maybe come up here. You know, this would imply we touch here in, say, June. That implies that maybe the market's going to top or Bitcoin tops around June, July timeframe. We'll have to see. But hopefully all the explanation on the topping indicators made sense. The other thing that should make sense is, based on my explanations, that none of the topping indicators have fired. There's nothing that's fired. So nothing in the market is telling me right now that this is it. And Bitcoin's going to have its blow off top this month or it's having it right now. Alts are going to run a little bit, and then we're done. None of these indicators are saying that. In fact, if anything, what I shared with you, these indicators are showing there's still a significant amount of room to the upside, right? Which is telling me, lends credence to the notion that this bull run is going to run well into 2025. It's anyone's guess if the market's going to top in May or June, or the market's going to top in October, November, December. I certainly personally hope for the latter. If you were to ask me what I hope for, it would be the latter. I've explained this time and time again. The reason is because the longer runway would allow for higher prices. Okay, the longer the consolatory space, the higher the expansion. It's one of the reasons that we're anticipating a very big run-up. Could exceed my expectations, quite frankly. I've shared that with you. Bitcoin spent the longest amount of time it ever has consolidating in this range. We now know with conviction. Guys, this is not, if you're following someone who's saying this is a range deviation from here, I mean, honestly, they have no fucking clue what they're talking about. Or they're in denial. Maybe they do know what they're talking about and they're in denial. Going up to $94,000 from a high of $73,000 is not a deviation. It's called a fucking breakout to the upside, okay? I've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks, this market has been in disbelief. Would you not agree with me at this point, this market's been in disbelief? I just can't say this enough. All we did on this channel is we kept it really stupid simple. We kept creating these higher lows, right? And until the higher lows, no matter what sort of pullbacks we saw, right? Look at some of these pullbacks, because you guys are, I guarantee most of you have already forgotten about this. This is what happens, right? We came up here, and then we corrected 20%. And then we came up here, and we corrected 12%. And then we came up here, and we corrected 10%. So those 10, 12, 20% pullbacks, at the time, people who were emotional, and I was trying to keep you grounded, people who were emotional were real concerned. And I'm saying, hey, guys, we got the higher lows coming in. There's no concern. Let's keep it stupid simple. Guys, we broke the descending resistance here. Guys, we back tested it as support. Guys, we're above $68,000, $70,000. Now look at us. So would be healthy for prices to pull back at some point, but we'll have to allow the market to dictate that. There's no reason Bitcoin couldn't pull back right now. There's no reason that it has to, though. Maybe it runs up to $95,000 or $97,000. It adds no value for you and I to have that conversation right now. We should have our position set, and we should be sitting on our hands, hodling for dear life right now. That's what you should be doing. Like, grow a pair. If you're honestly struggling right now, and you feel like you're struggling with life, and this is just too much for you, guys, I've been trying to prepare you for this moment for how long now? Like, grow a fucking pair. This is the moment. This moment right now is what's going to define your financial success in this market. Step it the fuck up, grow a pair, stop bitching and complaining if your altcoin isn't running. Shit rotates. Total 3 and Total Others hasn't even begun to break out yet. I keep showing you these charts that are just historically are telling you there's going to be a big run in alts. This dominance has yet to plummet. I told you, once we drop below 53, shit is going to get real quick, okay? Mark my words, okay? I'm going to get calls incorrect along the way, but I feel very confident that in generalities, I'm going to be proven to be correct in how this thing plays out. We will see. I thought there was something else I was going to show you, but I'll probably do a weekly 2-week close on Sunday, so we'll save that for later. Track, welcome in. Good to see you. Oh, the never-ending questions on Caspa. Guys, let's allow the market to mature. Caspa's not going to sit between 10 and 25 cents forever. Again, it is my highest conviction altcoin play. I have conviction on that asset. I don't know what else to tell you besides the fact of everything I've laid out. I have nothing from a TA perspective to tell you because I've told you everything I'm looking at. And chat disconnected. Please wait while we try to reconnect. Successfully connected. This is what I'm seeing on my end. And fundamentally, I mean, I told you guys, it's the first project I've ever learned about that gave me Bitcoin vibes. So I feel great about it. So I'm not worried. Ricky, what's up, my friend? Rory, do you believe in keeping a little moon bag after cashing out the bulk, or once you start selling, do you clean the account out? This is a great question, Rory. Thank you for asking this question. I want to talk about something. We're actually going to close out the live stream on a very important note, which Rory brings up here, and it's something that I want everyone to listen to me very carefully on. And if you don't listen to what I'm about to say, you're literally going to learn the hard way, okay? We as human beings all have emotions, and our emotions, a lot of the time, you can think of it in all sorts of different aspects of life. It tends to cloud your intellect at different points, right? I was going to give an example, but that's too personal. I won't go there. But your emotions sometimes cloud your intellect. When you're in profit, let's say, just hypothetically, let's say you had $100,000 invested in the market, and you're up to $1.5 million. You've pulled a 15x. You're sitting there at $1.5 million, and you feel like you're on top of the world. You feel like you know this market, you own it. This is what happens when the emotions kick in. You own this market, you know this market. And let's say you sell out though. You're smart and you start to scale out your investments and you've sold it all out. You need to promise yourself that once you decide to sell out, and this is my opinion, 95%. Did you hear what I just said? 95% of what you made from selling out, you're walking away with. You're going to put that in whatever fucking account you want to put it in, grow a modest earnings rate on it, take some money, enjoy it, go on a vacation, treat your girl to something, okay? That's what you do with that money. That money is not going back in crypto, guys. 95% of it. So because I can do the math in my head, but for effects, I'll do the calculator. 5% of $150,000, 0.05 times $150,000 is $7,500. So now that you've made, is that right? That's not right. No, that's not right. See, I can't. No, that's $75,000. It's got to be 75. Yeah, $75,000. So you've made $1.5 million. Now you got to put money aside for taxes. You need to know that, but you need to take that shit and just invest it in the most conservative way until it makes sense to get back on in the risk-on environment. Okay, that other $75,000 is still a lot of money. $75,000, which is only 5% of what you walked away with. Hey man, trade with it. Have fun. I mean, the market, once we start going down, let's go to a 3-day chart. That'll work just fine. If we go to a 3-day chart on Bitcoin, look man, I mean, plenty of bounces in here, right? We had a huge drop, a bounce up. We made a new all-time high. We came down here. We had a nice bounce up. If you're into shorting, you could have shorted it there. We go to, 2018 provided a lot of opportunities. Zigzagging in here. Altcoins, plenty of opportunities to trade, guys. So if you have an itch to do trading or to invest it in something, Bitcoin corrects 35%. It hits a key moving average. You think you could at least get a 15 to 30% bounce off of it. Okay, you have 5% there. You got $75,000. Go have fun. But that 95%, you promise yourself today, 95% of what you make in this market, especially when it's life-changing money, you fucking walk away with it. Because what you will begin to do if you don't is you will think you are smarter than the market and you will lose your money. You will put it back in the market. You'll make a dumb decision. Now it's in the market. Now it's in a risky environment. Now you don't have it anymore. You don't have it until you sell it again. Sell the damn thing and walk away. You hear what I'm saying? I can't emphasize this enough. That's what I'm just telling you what I plan on doing. Whether I make $100,000 in this market or $100 million in this market, I'm walking away with 95% of what I make. The 5%, I'm planning on doing exactly what I just told you. I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to trade, have fun with it. It doesn't mean diddly shit to me because I just walked away with some life-changing wealth, hopefully. So that is my suggestion. Rory, it was such a great question. You can tell I'm passionate about that. Juan, let's fucking go. Guys, I will not be back here tomorrow more than likely, but I'm going to try my best to live stream on Friday. Either way, I think Sunday's setting up for a really interesting weekly close. I'm also anticipating in the month of November here, hear me out, I'm also anticipating in the month of November for a lot of the altcoins to begin to pick up momentum going into the end of the year. And then, in my opinion, the true explosive fireworks will begin in January of next year. I don't think Bitcoin's going to hit 100,000 until the early part of the first quarter of next year. But who knows? We'll have to see. I'm not calling a top here. I'm not playing that game. That's not where the focus should be right now. I'm totally expecting this dominance to break down very, 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 very shortly. So we will see how that pans out. Until next time, everybody, let's all spread awareness. Let's carry the education forward. Take care of yourselves.